Hello, hello, my love. I hope this finds you doing so well. Welcome to another installment of the Tenderoni Hotline, where I answer your questions about somatics, the nervous system, emotional outsourcing, and so much more. If you want your question featured, send a little email to podcast@beatricealbina.com, and I'll be sure to add it to the list for an upcoming episode. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go. So our first question comes from Amygdala 18. The times I've worked up the courage to be honest with people about my limits or feeling hurt, I tend to be met with long explanations for their behavior, or the conversation gets redirected at scrutinizing me. This leaves me feeling overwhelmed and ineffective. Please help. Oh, my sweet love. Okay, this one is so painful, isn't it? So you finally speak your truth. Maybe even your voice shakes a little bit while you're saying it. And instead of being met with warmth, with curiosity, with love, with care, you get like a 10-minute monologue about why they didn't mean it or how you're misunderstanding. And there you are, sitting with your heart wide open, realizing the whole conversation's just turned into damage control for them. That kind of thing makes your body want to curl up and never try again. And trust and believe, I get it in the depths of my heart. My abusive ex-spouse did this all the time. It was part of their gaslighting. So anytime I was hurt by something they had done, all of a sudden they were so victimized, and it was all about them being the actual hurt party and me somehow being so wrong and bad for bringing up what they did, because that hurts them to hear that they hurt me. I mean, it was like a wild Custer-Claus, and so I get it. This also happens a lot when our parents or others are emotionally immature and turn to defensiveness as a way to try to manage their own shame. And I'll do a whole show about that because it's so important. Okay, but back to you. What's happening inside you makes total sense. Being honest about your hurt or your limits is inherently vulnerable work. Your nervous system's already working hard to manage that risk because some part of you probably remembers that honesty has historically come with a price. So when you get met with defensiveness or blame or have it all turned around on you, your body's like, oh, right, okay, this is the part where it stops being safe to have feelings, let alone express them. And so, of course, your chest tightens. Of course, your voice catches. Of course, your brain fogs over. I used to go totally blank in these moments. Your body's trying to keep you safe from what it recognizes as danger, because you've seen this movie before. And here's the kicker. People who rush to explain or justify or defend aren't usually actively, consciously trying to hurt you because, sadly, they aren't thinking about you in a moment that should very much be about you. They're just protecting their own fragile sense of self. They can't bear to see that they've caused pain. They have no rubric for holding the duality of I effed up with I can be a good person and also F up. So they start scrambling to restore their sense of safety while attempting to avoid the shame of having messed up by denying your experience, even if it means trampling your sense of self in the process, which it pretty much always does. It's messed up. It sucks. It's so painful. And it's so human. And you can see that, all of that in them without excusing it. Capiche? So what now? Well, first, don't try to win them over mid-spiral. When you feel that familiar flood, the sense of losing your words, of wanting to make them understand, that urgency, that rush, that whoa, pause. Orient, take a breath, feel your feet. You can say something like, hey, I'm not looking for an explanation right now. I just wanted you to know how that landed, how what you said landed. And if they keep going, it is totally okay to take care of yourself and to exit the conversation, especially when you're not being heard. Hey, I think we're going in circles. Let's come back to this later. And I want to say, you're not being rude. You're protecting your bandwidth, right? You're protecting your heart and you're protecting the relationship from further resentment. If talking with this person about hurt keeps looping like this and you find yourself more and more dysregulated each time, something that might work, it's worth a try, is writing instead. So sometimes a letter or even a voice note, not a text message, right? Because that catches them in whatever they're doing, but a letter or an email. It lets you express what's true without your nervous system getting flooded by their tone, their defensiveness, their response, because you're not receiving it in real time. You can also write it just for yourself to move the energy through you, or you can share it later when you feel more grounded, and when there's like an energetic opening between you two. That space can be the real difference between reacting and responding. So give yourself some spaciousness to communicate in a way that gives you a leg up, and so that your nervous system can have a little bit of space. Before you even start a hard conversation, I really want to encourage you to check your own regulation. So take a few minutes to orient, to breathe, to walk, to shake out your hands, maybe hum a little bit, get that vagus nerve tone, right? Like, let your body know before you go into the conversation that you are safe with you. And so your tone will naturally come from more calm instead of survival as you experience yourself going into the conversation with more calm. I also highly recommend rehearsing what you want to say aloud first, not in that perfectionist way where we like read the email 20 times before we send it or like perfect our words, but as a way to let the words move through your body so they don't feel so like foreign or new in the moment. And so you can like let your body get used to hearing you talk this way, right? Because that kind of rehearsal helps your nervous system to feel prepared. So it's not like scary and new, which can lower the threat response when it's go time, when you're having the actual conversation with this person. After, name the pattern, but do it later. Yeah. So you hurt me and they respond defensive, defensive, defensive. Take a breath, walk away. And when things have cooled down, that's when it's more productive, more strategic, more efficient and effective to say, when I shared my feelings earlier, I noticed the conversation shifted into explanations instead of listening. And that was really challenging for me. And then talk I statements, right? On your side of the street, I felt, right? And talk about you. This helps build awareness without escalating things in the heat of it. When you're not going to be heard because you're already, the whole problem is that you're not being heard, right? I will also add, it is not your job, and you couldn't if you tried, to teach someone emotional maturity. But it's powerful to model what it looks like to stay grounded and clear and to speak to your own experience, especially with a clear ask. Like, the next time I share how I'm feeling, I'd appreciate it if you could listen quietly and let me have my experience and simply let me know you heard me. Right? Feel into what feels right for you. Remember, you don't have to regulate alone. If you try to have a conversation, it goes this way, right? You get pushback instead of listening. Reach out. If your body's buzzing, if you feel small afterward, if you just feel terrible, call a friend, call a coach, a therapist, like call someone who can connect with you and can remind you that there's nothing wrong with you. You're not like bananas for wanting connection, that it's normal and loving to want to tell someone if they've hurt you so that you can, first of all, stop being hurt and so you can build more love. Pet your dog, wrap up in a blanket, hum, rock yourself a bit, listen to music that's soothing. These are all ways to co-regulate with life. They're ways of saying to your body, that sucked. But you and me, baby, we're still here. We survived that and we're safe now. We're learning, we're growing, we're safe now. Please also know this too. Sometimes the bravest move is learning the lesson and not engaging again, right? You don't owe anyone endless rounds of explaining or overfunctioning to attempt to get them to hear you. It's not emotional avoidance to make a conscious, thoughtful, intentional choice to step away from people who consistently can't hold accountability and make it very clear to you that they're not interested in hearing you. They're not interested in showing up in loving connection, right? It's not avoidance, it's discernment. And I'm not ever out here being like, cut people off, cancel people, estrangement's great. Like, come on, right? I'm all about community, collectivity, and interdependence, but I'm also like, I'm not here to keep getting slapped around. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not here for it. I've been there, done that, not interested. If you can't meet me with love and care, and I am consistently showing up to have these conversations with gentleness, with an open heart, with love, and I'm pushed against or negated, a girl can only do so freaking much. You know what I mean? And that's when we attune to ourselves, right? That's when you can try repairing from your side through the body, right? So giving your body and your nervous system what it needs to come home to you. So orienting your eyes around the room, which we talk about so much here, feeling the chair under you, moving your spine a little to remind yourself that you have physical space, even when emotional space feels scarce, when emotional care feels scarce, when you're not being held by the other person, the universe is holding you. You are being held, right? And so then later when you're calmer, you can start a ritual to support yourself in these conversations. Put your hand on your chest and tell yourself you did something brave. You told the truth. You spoke up. You spoke up for the good of the relationship, right? And trust that that's the intention you brought to the conversation. And when you do this, when you show up and show your body this kind of love, that's how your body learns that honesty doesn't always end in rupture, right? It may not have gone well with that person, but it can end in self-trust. And that's pretty freaking dope, right? After the conversation, please take care of the tender you that told the truth. She did something very courageous. Run your hands down your arms, shake it out. Do a few deep exhales with sound. Deep sighing can feel really nice. Let your body know that she's safe now, safe with you, right? Because you're teaching yourself in these moments, in real time, that your honesty deserves protection, deserves care, deserves celebration, deserves love, even when other people can't meet you in those ways. And that, my love, is how self-trust grows. That's the biggest gift of these moments. That, listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It sucks. It sucks when people meet you with defensiveness. I have experienced it with family, with friends. It's really challenging. And the real lesson is just to keep coming home to yourself. Thank you for this question. It's a really important one, and I'm sure it's resonating for a lot of people. So thank you. Our next question is from Nervy Nell. I keep hearing you talk about emotional outsourcing and how it connects to nervous system regulation, but I'm still not totally sure what that means in real life. Like, how do codependent perfectionist habits, also people-pleasing, actually live in the body? And how does somatic work help them shift? I just don't get it, okay? All right, so when we talk about emotional outsourcing, we're talking about the ways your body learns, like at a nervous system level, that safety, love, and belonging live somewhere outside of you, in other people's approvals, in other people's moods, in other people's thoughts, in other people's feelings. And it's not something you consciously choose, because why would you, right? Your nervous system absorbed it, usually early in life, through like thousands of tiny moments that taught your body what connection felt like and what it cost. Those early experiences get stored in implicit memory, the body's quiet archive of patterns and reactions that shape how you move through the world now. So implicit memory is the kind of memory that doesn't rely on words or conscious recall. It's the memory that lives in your body. It's your muscles, your breath, your posture, how you hold yourself. It's what lets you drive home without thinking about every turn, or reach for like a mug on the same shelf every morning without having to like open the cupboards like you've never looked in there. It's the same kind of memory that carries emotional learning. So the part of you that tenses when someone sighs isn't necessarily remembering a specific event, it's remembering the pattern. So that tightening in your stomach, that shallow breath, that implicit memory doing its job to attempt to keep you safe in a moment now that feels like a moment back in childhood. So maybe as a kid, you learned to read your dad's footsteps in the hall to gauge if it was a good night or one where you needed to be super quiet and disappear. Or if your mom went quiet for hours when she was upset and she was constantly offended, you learned that someone being silent meant danger and not peace. And so you learned to be a chatterbox, especially when there were big emotions. These patterns get woven into your nervous system through repetition. You didn't need to think, I should be careful. Your body just knew. The smell of dinner burning, the sound of a door closing too hard, you getting anything other than an A+ in a test, the tension in the room, all of it became cues your body used to predict safety. That's implicit memory doing its job, encoding survival responses, which is what codependency, perfectionism, and people-pleasing are, so that you could make it through childhood, hopefully as unscathed as possible. For some of us, implicit memory shaped perfectionism too. Maybe your sibling got yelled at for forgetting their homework and your body clocked it immediately. Danger lives there. So next time someone was upset, and what did? You bounded into the kitchen, waving your A+ spelling test like some peace offering, your nervous system humming with pride and relief. That moment of like, I'm good, I'm safe, they're smiling, I did a good thing, got recorded as the most reliable route to love, like the shortcut to love. And so the performance of self, the bright, cheerful, always achieving version of you, it became a survival strategy. It's not that you decided to be a perfectionist. Come on now. It's that your nervous system learned that performing competence kept you safe. And that memory still hums in your cells today. Fast forward a few decades, those same patterns still run under the surface. Your partner looks distracted while you're telling a story and your stomach drops. Your boss frowns while you're doing a presentation and your chest tightens. A friend doesn't text back right away and suddenly your brain is spinning stories about what you did wrong. All of that is emotional outsourcing in motion. Your nervous system scanning for safety out there, trying to manage connection before you even realize you're doing it. This constant external tracking takes a toll. The vagus nerve, that main highway of the parasympathetic system, gets stuck in a pattern of vigilance. Your digestion might slow down, your sleep gets shallow, easily disturbed, your ability to feel what's happening inside you, that's called interoception, dulls out. The body starts to confuse emotional threat with physical threat, so your stress response lights up just because someone's face changed. It's an incredibly efficient system for danger and a super painful, wicked, ouchy one for daily life. So somatic or body-based work, which I bring into all of my work, helps because it operates where these patterns live, because they're not in your brain, right? They're beneath language, inside sensation. You cannot talk your body out of what it learned pre-verbally, but you can teach it something new through experience. That looks like noticing your feet on the ground when you're in a hard conversation, softening your belly and letting your exhale lengthen when you feel that old urge to fix or to fawn or to overfunction. Over time, your body begins to trust that it no longer has to earn belonging by managing everyone else's state. And so safety starts to become an internal reference point again. This is what I break down in so much detail in my new book, End Emotional Outsourcing. The biology of these habits, the implicit memory at the core of them, and of course, the gentle science-backed ways to rewire your nervous system so you can stop performing safety and start actually feeling it. Because this work isn't about never getting triggered again, because that's not human, right? It's about recognizing, oh, that's my old wiring lighting up, and then knowing exactly how to begin to bring yourself back home, that's always the goal, right? More presence, more intentionality, more authenticity, more love, more connection, more interdependence. Thanks for your amazing questions. Thank you so much for listening into this episode. If you're loving what you're hearing, I'd be grateful if you could share the show on socials. Don't forget to tag me, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcast or wherever you get your shows. Your support means the absolute world to me, and I want to get this show into as many ears as possible, and your ratings and reviews help make that magic happen. We don't have sponsors here on Feminist Wellness. We just have community support. So thank you for being part of the movement. Let's do what we do. Gentle hand on your heart should you feel so moved. And remember, you are safe. You are held. You are loved. And when one of us heals, we help heal the world. Be well, my beauty. Mwah! I'll talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.